What is the dumbest question you've been asked? I was asked why is Alaska so cold if it's so close to Hawaii. She was looking at a map that had Alaska and Hawaii placed in boxes below the rest of the US. Why do you wear glasses? Because my eyes aren't right cool, so what do the glasses do? They help me to see like what? Night vision? I shit you not, my 15 years old cousin asked this. His sister wears glasses for During my exchange year in the US, I was sitting in my English class, and we had a few minutes until class started, when one of the guys I spoke regularly to suddenly turns and asks me if I could speak English, since I'm from Germany. I calmly asked him in what language we had been speaking just a second ago. It was pretty hilarious, and even our teacher had a good laugh with us. In short, guy asked me if I could speak English while we were talking in English. Won't they hatch? Asked by a guy who had just thrown out 2 dozen eggs that had *JUST* past their expiration date. He was concerned about having 24 little chicks running around inside his refrigerator. Dude was a university level science major. When I was working at my city's zoo, a woman asked me if she was at the zoo. In order to ask me that question, this woman had to get off the train at a station called Zoo Station or drive into the parking lot on a road called Zoo Road. Then, she had to walk down a long hallway with lots of pictures of animals, or with the zoo's logo, which includes the word zoo, under them, then stand in a long ass line in front a huge picture of a koala and the words "Welcome to City Zoo" printed in 3-foot high letters. I was also wearing a shirt and a hat with the zoo's name and a giraffe on it when she asked me this question. As a 911 operator, a caller once asked, on an emergency line, what the weather would be like on Thanksgiving Day in a desert resort popular with off-roaders that's located about 100 miles away from our city. It was April. Edit. It was an older woman concerned that her sons, who were planning this camping trip, would need to bring warmer clothes. From the hotel industry, favorites are generally along the theme of, why didn't you tell me when I booked my reservation 6 months ago that it was going to rain today? Why is there traffic? Why didn't you warn me there'd be traffic in Manhattan? Why can't you just tell the cops to let me through? But my all-time favorite was at a hotel where, for various reasons, the lobby was not on the first floor. The only thing on the first floor as you come in was a bank of elevators, by which you could then reach the lobby. Had a guest ask, in complete seriousness, why couldn't the taxi drop me off at the lobby? All the other hotels it drops me off at the lobby. All attempts to answer this were met with increasing rage on the part of the guest, because why couldn't the taxi come to the 8th floor? Coming off of an overseas flight carrying a 4-foot tall framed, but wrapped, painting, the customs officer. Did you get that out of the country? I assumed he was kidding and answered, no, I take it with me everywhere I go, and that was it, let me go through. I went on a month-long backpacking trip a few years back, so everything I needed was in a carry-on bag. So after I land in my home country, I bypass baggage claim and head for customs. As I walk up, the customs officer tells me baggage claim is over there. I inform him that I didn't check a bag. He starts to get suspicious and asks, where are your bags? So I point to my backpack. He responds, how did you spend 1 month out of the country without any checked luggage? I just kind of stare at him and say, I did laundry. Why is Chrome not on my remote desktop? Somehow this request had been called into our help desk, while simultaneously emailed to the provost and 3 deans. This set off a hellstorm of emails demanding we resolve the problem immediately, that we were interfering with an administrator's job, etc. The problem? The user apparently doesn't what a start menu is, despite it having been in the Windows OS in some form for the last 24 years. All this stems from a debate between me and my coworker, who designed the remote desktops for my workplace, on whether or not icons should be on the desktop. I'm for a few icons. My mother works as a volunteer guide in a national park, and she was asked at what elevation do deer turn into elk. My knees. As a pavement engineer, a citizen called me and asked me why on earth I didn't bother to have the new pavement match the old pavement in color, because the new patch by her house is so unsightly with the ugly new black next to the older gray. She also told me she was sure I didn't spend the money for the grayer pavement that would have matched in her neighborhood because the county secretly saved that stuff for the richer neighborhoods and didn't care about her lowly subdivision. How long does 1 hour take? Granted, I was working in a 1 hour photo developing place and what they were actually asking was whether or not we were backed up or they could get their photos quickly. But their actual question was responded to with some incredulously raised eyebrows. They did laugh after they figured out what they'd actually said. So it wasn't me who was asked, but I was listening to a radio talk show the other day and the host from my country, Greek, interviewed a doctor from Australia about the pandemic and how they are handling it. At some point the doctor is about to say on July, only to be interrupted by the host July here or your July. The doctor responds by we do have the same July standing on a cruise ship dock in Alaska, fielding tourist questions. How far above sea level are we? I don't feel well. Think I'm getting altitude sickness. I worked for a higher end retail store and quickly became the stand-in brand representative for Levian. That I was the only one outside of the actual representative who had all of our Levy styles for our department memorized. Our Levy area is clearly marked with a dozen odd signs proclaiming Levy, as well as a sign over each display noting the cut. As I was putting away jeans accumulated from returns in the fitting room, I had a woman come over to me and asked, "Do you sell Levy?" The worst wasn't even the question. After I had replied in the affirmative and indicated we were literally standing in the Levy area, she continued to hound me with "Do you sell Levy?" until she finally revealed she'd expected me to lead her over to the exact style in her head. She somehow didn't know that Levy was a brand, not a style of jeans. Have you tried essential oils to cure your diabetes? Switch out essential oils for whatever BS they're hawking. I'm type 1. I haven't produced any insulin in 35 plus years. My typical response to this line of questioning is, I'll gladly try whatever you suggest on one condition. First we find a doctor to remove your eyes. You shouldn't object to this, since people live without eyes all the time, and going off insulin will kill me pretty quickly. So it'd really be an inconvenience for you, especially since you could use your essential oils to restore your vision. Now, if you did that, not only would you be rich and famous, but I'd be happy to try out your cure. Oddly, no one has ever taken me up on this. Hey guys, please remember to like and subscribe, it really helps my video out in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoy, and watch out for more Editbot videos.